approved this week, the Minister of Finance has introduced the appropriation bill that requests the National Assembly's approval of government's budget expenditure for the next year, from January to December.
In essence, this 2022 budget signals that in the Gambia we are committed to strengthening our productivity, enhance competitiveness, and promote private sector as engine of growth in the country. This budget also signals our commitment to a green and resilient recovery that leaves no one behind. Meanwhile,
carrying the largest share of the budget are National Debt Services, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. Capital expenditure features hugely in the budget. Next year's budget factors in the completion of roads projects in the rural and urban area.
Contracts have been signed through funding from the national fuel level for the maintenance of roads in the villages of Bambakolo, Kudang, Kombo Coastal Highway, the construction of Soma, Mansakonko Roads, Pakalinding, Mansakonko Farato, Jambur, Tujareng, Kunkujang Mariama, and Kerawan Nyawara. These roads have been subjected to serious depression, causing accidents and adding traffic congestions.
The 2021 fiscal year was a challenging one for the Gambia and an improvement from what was faced in 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic, which took the largest share of government's national response to the pandemic. To foster economic growth, the government is seeking to introduce legislation that will promote and protect private sector investment in the Gambia.
Consequently, a new capital bill will be introduced before the National Assembly to establish the regulatory authority which is mandated to protect investors as well as maintain a fair, efficient and transparent market.
Another legislative measure the government intends to take is the introduction of a bill that will improve the performance and effectiveness of state-owned enterprises after previous audits discovered weaknesses in critical areas.
The ministry will present before this National Assembly a state-owned enterprise bill that seeks to establish a state-owned enterprise commission, which will in turn make provisions for efficient and effective governance of SOEs and monitor their performances.
Recognizing the role of traditional rulers, the 2022 budget will see chiefs and alcalos paid salaries from next year. This year's budget is hailed by both the finance minister and some National Assembly members as a historic one, in the sense that the budget deficit is significantly low. There has been a decline in borrowing and a substantial increase in capital expenditure.
Moreover, to ensure inclusive development, government has over the years adopted innovative financing measures to reduce rural and urban disparities. This is exemplified by the Program for Accelerated Community Development and other numerous infrastructure projects launched by His Excellency the President.
The National Assembly is adjourned to Friday the 29th of this month to debate the appropriation bill, which will need to pass second and third readings, and finally needs to be assented to by the President within 7 days of its introduction. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
2 Nigerian nationals have been arrested by the Gambia police force for allegedly breaking into a car and stealing over $100,000. Well, the police say this is similar to incidents where suspects station themselves near banks to monitor customers who come to withdraw large sums before trailing them on a motorbike. Lolian Camera has more.
At a press briefing at the Bakwata police station on Thursday, the police revealed that the incident happened on Tuesday. The suspects, Chingosi Solomon Obilo, a 46-year-old man, and Mentus Tunde Ozawani, a 36-year-old, are alleged to have stolen $120,000. The police said the 2 men arrived in the Gambia a few days ago, and the first thing they bought was a motorbike for use in their operation. The public relations officer of the Gambia Police Force, Superintendent Lamin Jai, explains.
These individuals are being caught on a particular crime which they are specialized in doing, and that is they follow their victims to their banks and observe them. In fact, they lay some kind of a surveillance for this particular individual while he or she goes on with withdrawing cash from the bank. And they always mark out people who withdraw bulk cash from their banks, and then one of them will be in the bank while the other one is sitting on a motorbike outside waiting for you. Moment you withdraw your cash and you are out and about going, then he will signal or call this other individual to tell the person he is on his way coming out, and the motorbike owner will mark you. As soon as the other person comes out, then they will follow you on their bike. Wherever you go, they will be following you without your knowledge until you park your car at any point. Then they will decide to come over, break the car glasses, and steal money that you have put in the car. Or in certain instances, they could even forcefully rob you when you carry the money back with you.
Superintendent Jai gave further details of how the door operated.
And what we have gathered as far as our experience is concerned is the fact that they do this once, twice or so, and they gather the money and they flee out of the country within the nearest possible time. So unfortunately for these people, this time around they could not get away with this and they are being caught. And we are sending signal and message out to other people who might think that you can do this and get away with it, that you cannot get away with this.
Pierre Njai also commended the public for supporting the police.
The second message we want to send to the public is for people to share information with the police about unusual activities. When you are in a community and you have issues that are happening around, or individuals that you cannot recognize, you need to inform the police. Before they even conduct their activities, they will get investigated.
The robbery victim, who spoke to us off camera, said he first thanked God for recovering his money and thanked his neighbors who helped capture one of the suspects. The two suspects have been charged and will appear in court at a later date. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
The First Lady, Fatouba Barrow, said she is pleased with the free medical health service currently being provided by a team of doctors from Saudi Arabia. She visited them in action to see how their operation is going on. Alusise has more.
The team of medical experts is in the country through the First Lady's Foundation partnership with the Al Balsam International Organization, health service provider, and the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center in Saudi Arabia. The team, divided into groups, is at the Edward Francis Luma Teaching Hospital, Serekunda General Hospital, and Farafenni General Hospital. The free healthcare service provided by the team includes general pediatric surgery. The team is happy that the operations are going on successfully. While for the First Lady, this is a joyful moment for her, and it has motivated her to do more. She hopes to have the team frequently in the country.
We had 7 cases of OB and gynecology. We had 3 cases of plastic surgery, 4 cases of brain tumor surgeries. We had 3, and one of them was a very complicated case of urology. We had also 7 cases of pediatric surgeries. Alhamdulillah, that was done only in 1 day. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We are checking, we are following up with the patients who did surgery yesterday. We are following up with them today, making sure that there is no fever, no any contradictions that they might have. So we are making sure that they are, inshallah, in a good situation.
So when I was told that they did over 20 cases, I was happy and I was jubilating, saying that if they can save 20 lives, that's a big thing to celebrate. I celebrated yesterday, and I think I was saying that I will pray that before the end of the program, if they can do more than 100, I'll be very grateful. And I think we're going towards that trend, because doing more than almost 30 cases yesterday, today if they can do or another 30, it's like, wow, we'll be there. This is all we can do for the Gambia. There is no budget, and there is no budget for the Office of the First Lady, and the foundation, we are not having any money. But I think we will be the advocates for the country. We will go throughout the world to see how best we will collaborate with other people like the King Salman and the Al-Bazar, to come and assist us in developing our country, inshallah.
At the Serekunda General Hospital, Fatmata Eba, who is working with the team, says she and her colleagues have been learning a lot of new things.
So the surgeries they do, it's very nice and it's very standard and it's very clean, which we really appreciate. And we are all learning from it. Hopefully in the future we'll also be able to do great surgeries like they are.
The patients have applauded the professionalism of the team and the First Lady for facilitating this mission. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
That report by Aliou Cisse will now take us to a commercial break, and when we return we'll still have some more local news and also sports news stories for you.
With such exceptional prices, impossible to miss the Butty Days. It's the unmissable appointment of Buttimat from the 30th of October to the 13th of November. Take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 50% off on several product families. The best quality, price ratio for the best of construction. It's at Buttimat, so don't wait anymore. Let's hit the road for the Butty Days. Buttimat, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
Welcome back after that short commercial break, and this is QTV News. As part of activities commemorating Ecobank Day, Ecobank Gambia Limited on Tuesday presented food and sanitary items to the Tanka Psychiatric Hospital in Salaji. Ansumane Sonyasi tells us more.
Ecobank Day is a corporate activity observed across the Ecobank Group in all the 36 countries where they operate in for the past 13 years. However, this year, the bank has decided to support national mental health drive by extending support to the country's only psychiatric hospital, hosting over 100 patients. Lamin Sanyang, Ecobank head of operations, says the group has over the years supported the health sector, especially on the various national health advocacy programs such as malaria treatment, diabetes, maternal health, amongst others, adding that Tuesday's gesture is part of their efforts to end the stigma and discrimination against mental health patients.
I must thank the people working in this hospital. When I walked in, I definitely felt for the people in this environment, and that the people who are handling those people must be thanked. We cannot pay them, but we pray that God will pay you.
Mamoudou Gassama of the WHO commended Ecobank for extending support to what he described as the most neglected sector within the health system, and went on to reveal disturbing national and global statistics on mental health.
The World Health Organization believes that there is no health without mental health, but it's forgotten, it's neglected. As I speak to you now, nearly 75% of people with this condition, different mental health disorders, around, in fact, in the developing countries, 75% don't have treatment. And almost the same figure, of course lesser than that, in the developed world, so-called developed world, it's only about 50%.
Dr. Mustafa Bite, Director of Health Services, Ministry of Health, and Jarete Drame, Deputy Chief Matron at the EFSTH Tanka Psychiatric Hospital, respectively, expressed gratitude to Ecobank for their timely intervention. and went on to outline some of the challenges confronting the country's only psychiatric hospital.
Any support we get from any partner, any stakeholder, it's highly cherished. Because without your intervention, this would have been our role, to ensure that we preserve and promote the health of every citizen in this country. It's a very ambitious thing. It's very difficult to do it alone as a government, so that's why we cherish your coming forward to support in this area.
We really appreciate this item that you brought here today. It's need for us to have it. You know, Tanka Hospital, there is no patient who pay even a dime. All the patients here has a relative. The day of admission, you see relative. But apart of that, after the admission, you don't see any relative.
Ecobank, a transnational company, is a pan-African banking conglomerate with banking operations in 36 African countries. It is one of the leading independent regional banking group in West Africa and Central Africa, serving wholesale and retail customers. Ansmale Sonyasi for KTV News.
The Gambia Ports Authority, in collaboration with state security and law enforcement agencies on Thursday, held its annual maritime security exercise as part of its mandate to providing a coordinated response to possible threats to maritime security and ports-related emergencies. Omar Pijala has more.
The exercise is in line with GPS resolve in fulfilling its international obligations to the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS Code, which was developed in response to the perceived threats to ships and port facilities in the wake of the September 11, 2001 attacks on U.S. targets and the bombing of the French oil tanker Limburg off the coast of Yemen in 2002. The ISPS Code is part of a Safety of Life at Sea Convention SOLAS, and compliance is mandatory for the 148 contracting parties to the SOLAS, as agreed at a meeting of the 108 signatories of the SOLAS Convention in London in December 2002. Explaining the overall objective of the exercise, Yankuba Mane, the GPS communications officer, said it reflects GPS resolve to fulfill its international obligations by continuously complying with requirements in the ISPS Code to safeguard the maritime activities in the port of Banjul.
ISPS has 7 functional requirements, and out of the 7, the 7th one is to exercise or to conduct training, drills, exercises, so that different stakeholders can get familiar or they familiarize themselves with the rules and the procedures. Mampate Damfa, the Deputy Harbour Master, said the exercise aims to test the operational effectiveness of the Port Facility Security Plan, the Port Contingency Plan, as well as the readiness of government agencies in providing coordinated response to possible threats to maritime security and port-related emergencies.
We have to ensure that there are means of raising alarms to respond to security incidents or threats. We have to ensure that there is a security plan that is based on a security assessment. Ensure that these plans, we are familiar with them and exercise, train them to familiarize ourselves with their plans and procedures.
Representing the Police Reform Advisor at the Office of the National Security, Deputy Superintendent of Police Abdullah Toure said ensuring a safe and secure port is a shared responsibility. Thus, the exercise highlights the close cooperation amongst various national enforcement agencies and other stakeholders.
Gambia Port Authority is one of the entry points for this country. It's one of the facilities that is very key to the economy of this country. As such, we need to ensure that the security of this facility is not compromised. This activity will be will be subjected to an intense review in the coming days to ensure that all participants and stakeholders send in their contributions and observations to ensure that we have a coordinated and a well-supported response to this type of activity.
The exercise director, Farah Job, of the Gambia Navy, said the exercise will enable GPA to test and evaluate its security and emergency plans and procedures, test command, coordination, resource availability, and respond to several services involved in port security and safety.
Having the base, the naval base, just next door is an assurance that response will be fast enough. So what we need to improve upon is the equipment that is required, the better training that is required, and then the coordination.
Thursday's exercise was based on a scenario of a fire outbreak, an explosion in a port installation, a demonstration of containing the fire in real life, searching port facilities and rescue and evacuation of purported victims. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
From that report by Omar P. Jallo, that will take us now to sports news. In sports news tonight, the Gambia Football Federation, in collaboration with FIFA, launched a women's athlete empowerment project to honor the legacy of former Gambia and Red Scorpions goalkeeper Fatim Jawara. Fatim died after drowning in the Mediterranean Sea in 2016 as he embarked on an irregular migration journey to Europe. More in this report. The project aims to create opportunities for young women through football with life skills to generate income for a sustainable livelihood, while discouraging the deadly irregular journey to Europe via the Mediterranean, locally referred to as the back way. Fatim Jawara was a 19-year-old girl playing for local club Red Scorpions and the Gambian national women's team as a goalkeeper. She met her death while embarking on the perilous, undocumented journey to Europe through Libya via the Mediterranean Sea on the 27th of October 2016. Her dream was to seek a better life. Basiru Jawara, Fatim's brother, described her as a good and very disciplined person.
Am ben xaritam bu ko dugal ci yooni baag wi bi waye mom lolu sax nekuton mebetam waye gis na ni yaayam mel ak ni nit ñi di démé baag wi ñi di soxi ci football bi so mu gis ne hintaram mënon na try chance bobu non pour mun sey dimbalé famille bi so lolu moko ci dugal té bim koy def tamit family bi tamit yeguñ ko so suñ koy yegon dinañ ko discourage.
Fatim's story garnered a lot of international media attention at the time. The World Football Governing Body FIFA and the Gambia Football Federation launched this project using her story to sensitize women footballers to use the opportunity created through football to discourage them from taking the risky journey to Europe. Lamin Kababajo, the president of the Gambia Football Federation, spoke highly of the late Fatim Jawara.
The project will then allow them to both play the game they love and be involved in some economic activities that will make them autonomous in their daily lives. That being done, it will reduce the temptation of risking their lives to travel abroad illegally with all the dangers. No. We would like to particularly thank Fatim Jawara's family for allowing us to launch this future project in the name of their beloved daughter.
Fatih Bintou Ba, a FIFA consultant and facilitator of the project, speaking to the GFF media via Zoom from Dakar, says FIFA will create the opportunities for young girls to live the football dream in a safe environment.
FIFA, as an international organization for football, but who's also a responsible organization and who tries their best to really be involved socially and be socially responsible alongside GFF above football, because football is very good. Everyone is passionate about football, but we also have to pay attention to what is happening to people's lives. People playing football, people involved in football, and also people passionate about football, following it.
Fatim Jawara's story is a sad one. She was a young girl on the verge of living the football dream, but her life was tragically cut short. While everyone discourages the journeys she took, knowing the risks, it is hoped opportunities can be created to ensure players can earn a living by making a career as footballers in the Gambia. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News. Well, Fatim Jawara's story is a sad one, even though it happened 5 years ago, but it's still fresh in our minds, and we pray that she rest in eternal peace. Well, that's it for QTV News tonight, and join us at 10 for another bulletin.